Are you struggling with weak legs that make everyday activities harder? Well, what if I told you that one of my clients improved their leg strength by an incredible 75% in just 5 weeks? Today, I'm going to share that exercise with you so that you can stop struggling with weak legs and start living life again. If you haven't met yet, I'm Gavin, I'm a personal trainer and I co-own New Zealand's only fitness studio for people over the age of 40. And many of our clients come to us wanting to gain strength. They find that doing everyday tasks becoming harder. They may be struggling with the groceries or doing things in the garden or playing with their grandkids, you name it. When you start to lack strength, the whole portion of your life starts to become a little bit harder. Well, with Olive, she came to us. She's a very, very small lady. She only weighs about 36 kilos. She's quite short, little Asian lady. And she was the same. She was struggling to get up off a chair. She was struggling to walk upstairs and things like that because her legs were so weak. Now, Olive is 60 years old as well. So you can imagine in that age, at that weight, you can see she's actually quite a frail lady. And one of the staple exercises that we decided to put into her program was a sit to stand exercise. It is very basic, but don't let basic fool you. Simple sometimes is often a lot better. So with this exercise, I'm going to explain some of the timelines as well. So when she first came in, she was doing this sit to stand exercise with no weight whatsoever. And then we gently progressed it to a 4 kilo dumbbell. And then from once she got to the 4 kilo dumbbell doing the goblet sit to stand, she was off like a rocket and she started to improve really, really quickly. Now, the reason that her leg strength improved so fast is because up until this point, by the time, since she was 30 years old, she's lost roughly 10% of her muscle mass every single decade. It happens to all of us if we don't work on our strength. And studies show that time and time again. And when you start to get past 60, things start to happen a little bit faster. And what we want to try and do is not so much gain tons and tons of muscle, it's about replacing the muscle that you lost. And one amazing thing about people over 40 and what I see all the time within our community is that people have really good muscle memory. And as soon as they start using resistance training, their strength starts to skyrocket in a really, really quick amount of time, which is what happened in Olive's occasion. So when you put this all together, she was using a 4 kilogram dumbbell to do a goblet squat. And then we progressed her in about 5 weeks to a 7 kilogram dumbbell. Now that is a 75% increase in strength. And when I say that, she was doing 3 sets of 15 with a 4 kilo and she was doing 3 sets of 15 with a 7 kilo. Now, the other thing that makes this so spectacular as well is that a 7 kilogram dumbbell is 20% of her total body weight. So she is lifting a huge amount of weight in relation to her size. And it didn't take long to do. So the way we did this, we usually do a full body workout and I do this 3 times a week. So it's not a huge amount of time commitment. And if you would like a copy of a very similar program, or the same program I did for Olive, all you have to do is comment strength down below and I will send that to you via email. So now I'm going to explain how to do this exercise, how you can do it yourself, and hopefully you can experience the same sort of strength gains in a relatively same amount of time. Now, a sit to stand exercise is basically as it is. You stand up from a seated position. And a lot of people, when they get to that 50, 60 mark, have to use their hands to get up because your leg strength has declined maybe twice as fast as your upper body strength. And like I said, you've lost maybe 30% of your muscle mass, which is massive. So what we want to try and do, we want to try and work on functional movements. And standing up from a chair is a very functional thing. You do it every single day, but we're going to do it with a bit of intention. And when you start to do these exercises, think of it this way. You're building a bit of a reserve for life. So when you need to stand up from a chair without using your arms, you can do that. And I promise you, once your leg strength starts to improve, your life will also start to improve. So the way we do this exercise is that you're going to sit in a chair, and ideally what we want is your legs about 90 degrees. And I'll give you a different version in a second if you can't do it from 90. And you're going to turn your toes out at an angle like this. You're going to cross your arms across your chest this way, and I want you to roll forward onto your midfoot, and you're going to stand up nice and tall, right up to the top, don't half it, and you're going to sit yourself back down by breaking at the hips first. So from the side, what it looks like, legs are about 90 degrees, arms across the chest there, you roll forward and you stand up nice and tall, you break with the hips, that's important, and you sit back down to where you started. Don't worry, I know a lot of people get a bit nervous when they try to sit back down. The chair doesn't move and you haven't moved, so you're all good. Now, what you want to do to improve it, so once you do that, maybe do that 15 times first before you start to use the dumbbell. But then we're going to progress to what the goblet squat sit to stand is. And you hold the dumbbell in your hands like a goblet. You bring it close to your body this way, chest up nice and tall, roll forward, the same process, and you stand back up again. And you're gonna repeat this for, like I said, 15 reps, okay? And obviously if you can't get to 15 reps, then you'll do 10 or 8 or 6 or whatever you need to do, but stick with it and try and aim for 15 reps. And if you do this 3 times per week, like I said, if you run that strength program, just comment strength, and practice this 3 times a week for about 30 minutes each, you know, for the whole body workout. And I pretty much guarantee you that if you do this, you will get massive strength increases. We see it time and time again. We replicate it time and time again. And that is what's so amazing about some of these older people that come into our facility, is how strong and how fast they can do it in, okay? Now, if you can't get down that low, okay, what you can do, you can turn the chair to the side or use a higher surface. And you can see if you sit on this now, my legs are a bit of an angle. So sometimes, you know, the low seated position is too hard for a lot of people. So you just start. This is something called progressive overload. You just progressively get a little bit stronger, do a little bit better, and over time you get better. Same principle applies though. You sit down, your legs are a bit more of an angle, which makes it easier to get up. Arms across the front of your body, and you stand up again, and then you sit back down. And you repeat exactly the same process. And the more confident you get, then you may not use a dumbbell on this exercise. You would sort of work down to a lower position when you can do it, you know, without struggling too much. Let me know in the comments, are you gonna try this exercise? Let me know what you're particularly struggling with. And if you did enjoy the video, let me know. I would love to know how you got on with it. And if you feel somebody else may benefit from this video as well, please share it along. The more people we can help, the better. The stronger people are as they age is always going to be a huge benefit for everybody involved. I'm going to leave a video up in the top left corner there to a glute exercise, because so many people have weak glutes, which then leads to lower back pain. And we know if we can strengthen our glutes, then the whole core is strengthened as well, and everyday activities becomes even easier. So go over to that video and I will just see you over there shortly.